Hi, welcome to Keep It G Show. This is episode 2, and today I will be discussing the topic passive prostitution. And this topic it pretty much relates and correlates with all of the pretty much media entertainment that we have been seeing, the hypersexualization of African American women as it relates to our music, our media, the OnlyFans page, the Cucumber challenges, Stripper Bowl Fest, WAP, everything that relates to as how it shows the black woman. And I want to speak on it, and we're going to delve into this and really get to understand what passive prostitution is, what the connotation behind it is, and why we as black women should not be labeled that. So tune in.
Y'all, it's your girl Cardi B, and I'm doing this video so y'all can keep y'all pussy on WAP. You know what I'm saying? Allow you got that bright pussy.
Did your grandmammy tell you that don't get that pocketbook out unless you put some cash in and stop coming home with an empty stomach and an empty pockets and a wet? What the wrong with y'all?
Guess what? Scared money don't make no money. If you're gonna be scared to get that money, you're gonna be scared to be yourself and say this who I am, then you ain't gonna get that coin like that.
So this topic is very dear to me. Like, I really had to speak on it. I felt like, people might be offended. I was speaking to one of my homeboys, and he was like, what is your episode 2 about? I was like, passive prostitution. He was like, you need to change that. I was like, what? He was like, don't nobody want to hear that. If a woman want to sell her body or she want to finesse somebody and get some money, then let her do it. And I was like, wow, like he shot me down. Oh, nobody's going to pay attention to this. Nobody's going to listen. That's a whack topic. And I was like, what? And I was like, wow, I thought it was so interesting how this black man felt that way. And so I asked another black man of status, he's a millionaire. So I called him up. I said, let me ask you a question real quick. Why are black men okay with, the passive prostitution, so to speak, of black women, finessing or using their bodies for money and using men for money or, using their bodies to get whatever they want? And he was just like, well, Jamel, honestly, I think a lot of black men do that, especially men of status or men who have money, because there's no work behind it. You can pay someone, a good-looking woman, a beautiful woman, get her body, get whatever whatever you want, any pleasure you want out of her, and just give her money. You don't have to love her. You don't have to give her attention. You don't have to give her affection. You don't have to give her honesty. You can just give her money. So there's no work behind it. So, hey, it's easy. Why not? And I was like, wow. I was like, man, this is really what our culture has come to. And I'm not saying on all aspects of it, but on the broader spectrum where we see this daily, through the media, through entertainment, through the music, through television, through TV, through social media. Through our everyday lives, we see this, and it's becoming acceptable, and this is becoming our culture. And I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. This is not normal, you guys. And a lot of people want to say, like Dwayne Wade tried to say, this is the new normal. This is not the new normal. I'm sorry. Like, somebody has to speak up on the degrading of black women and how we black women are degrading ourselves. It's not acceptable. Passive prostitution, that's what it is. That's what I call it. I know people say, oh, that's the oldest, the oldest profession in the world. But let me tell y'all something. For you to use your body to get material items and material things and to encourage it and promote it, black women, and feel like that you're something you're proud of, to me, we have taken 30 million steps back. At one point it was Michelle Obama. We were looking up to Michelle Obama. We were looking up to this one, that. Now it's, we looking up, we going around screaming WAP. Like, let me just break it down to y'all. And no offense to Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. First of all, this episode is not to degrade any black women to put them down, because I believe that there are a lot of innocent, ignorant black women. When I say innocent, ignorant, it means that this is what they've been shown. This is what they've been taught. So they don't know any better. So let's put that first. And a lot of the women and the young ladies who may watch this or come across this, that may just be the case. I remember teaching a couple of years ago. I was teaching, it was like a juvenile group. I can't remember but I think the age, she was like, one girl was 19, they had gotten into some trouble, had previous records, whatever, anyway. So I was speaking one day and I was talking to the group, and we were talking about different things, relationships and, carrying yourselves. And somehow we got on the topic, and the young lady said, oh my God, she was like, Coach G. And I was like, what? She said, You are the first person that I ever heard speak or teach or talk to me or anybody, any of us in this group about not using our bodies to get what we want. And I just stopped and looked at him like, how old are you? She's like, I think she said she was either 19 or 20. I can't remember quite the age. And she said, my grandmother, my mother, my aunts, they all taught me to use my body to get what I want. And she said, you are the first woman to tell me that was not okay. And at the time, I just kind of, when she said it, I caught myself, because when you're mentoring and teaching young people, you can't react because they're gonna be like. But when I got home, it just stayed on my heart, and this was like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I never forget that, and I was just like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like, she said I was the first person to ever tell her that. And so a lot of these women and young ladies don't know any better. So I'm not here to bash or degrade anyone, but I have to speak on it, because there are some who want to change their mindset, who want a different perspective on life, who want more out of life, to aspire to an OnlyFans page or to spot, and I remember teaching when I used to ask the young ladies in class, what do y'all want to be? And the girls, this was on the South Side. I was teaching, Grady, teaching at Banneker at the time, Langston Hughes, Hateville. These girls are raising their hand all proud in front of class. And everybody, I want to be a stripper. I'm like, that's your goal. They's like, yeah, Coach G, I want to be a stripper. Strippers make money. Strippers drive nice cars. They got all the men. They got the money. And I'm just like, this is what, and they had no shame. When I say these young ladies had no shame to stand up in front of everybody in the classroom and tell us they wanted to be strippers. And, I had to sit there and just tell a couple of them, like, look, y'all don't know all the lifestyle that they're glorifying on social media and TV. Yeah, these women make money, but you don't see the other side of that. And I used to mentor a young lady who was a stripper. And I'll never forget, she telling me, she's like, Coach G, I just laugh at men. I'm disgusted with men, the way they come in and, how they touch our bodies. They just stupid. They dumb. I just look at them like another check. She was a lesbian, of course, at that point. She just done with men. And she was telling me how a lot of the women, she was like, I don't make as much as I used to, because now all the strip clubs have the VIP rooms where people just pay $100 and they go in the VIP room, and then the girl charges them whatever amount and they have sex with them. She's like, they making all the money now. It's not really the same. Now, this was a couple years ago. I don't know if it's changed. I'm not in a strip club like that, but I'm just telling you what she was speaking to me about, and the drugs involved and how she stays high. And I told a young lady, some of the girls in my class, I'm like, do y'all know the other side to the strip? Like, do y'all know what really goes on? I mean, it's just so much ignorance in our community. And during this time of, all this fighting and racial injustice and police brutality, there are some other things that I think we need to speak up on in our community. And I want to speak up on today, passive prostitution and the finessing. And this some of the examples I just gave y'all are some examples of why this is so dear to me. Because a lot of you may be, oblivious to what's really going on with the younger generation. And I hear a lot of people say, well, they can't look at these, these certain people and entertainers as role models, and that's the parents' fault. The parents need to raise the children to be better. I'm not here to be a role model. Cardi B I'm not trying to. Listen, y'all, when you say that, let me tell y'all, a lot of these kids don't have a home. So when you sit up here and say, well, I'm not a role model, I don't have to do this, it's the parents' fault. Where are the parents? Half my students didn't have parents. So when you say it starts at the home, some of these don't have a home. A lot of the young people are homeless. To be honest with you, most of them are sleeping on their auntie's couch or somebody. So at the end of the day, I just think we have to be accountable for what we're teaching this younger generation. Because at some point, we're all going to be ancestors. And for me to hear a young lady say, my grandmother, my aunt, my cousin all taught me to use my body, that's what you want to teach your younger generation? That's a problem. And somebody has to speak up on it. It's not cute. And, for us to be like, well, women are empowered and the feminist movement, and we can show our bodies and we can do whatever we want with them. At the end of the day, you're telling one side of the story. You're not telling the whole side of the story. And for men who are okay with that, and the men who are okay with the finessing and tricking and, hiring these strippers and the OnlyFans pages, it's interesting to see, even with Kanye West, my daughter better not ever pose for this. It's funny how some black men are okay with the tricking and the stripping and this and that, but don't want their daughters to do it. You see the irony in that, women? If it's so okay, then ask them why they don't want their children to do it. They don't want their daughters to do it, their nieces to do it, their sisters to do it. Ask them that. So you gotta really tell all sides of the picture and not just paint the picture that, you know, I use my body, I got a Bentley, or I use my body, I bought a mansion. Like one girl posted her OnlyFans, bought her a house. Let me say this. At the end of the day, you guys, it's time for women to become intelligent women. Not smart, but intelligent. And when you're intelligent, it comes with a price. You carry yourself a certain way. You hold yourself to certain standards. You don't let yourself just be bought and sold. You know your worth, okay? Let's stop looking at these material items, a Chanel bag, a Gucci bag, a nice car as a way to devalue yourself and your standards of who you are as a woman. And stop teaching these young ladies that. You know, we got a song named WAP, everybody glorifying it, but what is special and rare about having a wet vagina? Is that not a given? Like, ladies, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, y'all, come on now. Y'all know there's more. If that's the only thing you can brag about, what sets you apart? Let's really think about that. How crass and how ignorant do we sound to be praising and singing a song about a wet vagina? Is that not a given? If it's not a given, and there may be some issues that a lady may have, she may be dealing with some, you know, a bad diet or some depression or things like that, but there's always things that can fix that. So what else do you have to bring to the table and be proud of? That's a given. Newsflash, everybody has that. Come on, y'all. It's time for us women to stand up and be rare. You know what a ruby or a diamond, those things are rare. You barely can find them. You're not going to find a rare, valuable thing laying on the ground, come knocking on your door, showing themselves on OnlyFans. That's not rare. Those types of actions and things that we are uplifting and promoting and saying we're empowering ourselves as black women, that comes a dime a dozen. That's nothing to be proud of. That's nothing that sets you apart and sets you as a standard for others to look to see and say, oh, she's different. She's a person of virtue. What's her character like? What's her honesty, integrity about? At the end of the day, those are the things that's going to carry you to the next level. Not sleeping your way to the top, not finessing people, not using your body. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, there has to be a standard that we have to, as black women, hold each other accountable for. And yes, there are some who are ignorant, who don't know any better, who were raised in a certain lifestyle. But let me tell you, ladies, even if you were raised in a certain lifestyle where you saw images and this became normal to you, being a finesser, stripping, using your body for money, if you were raised in that lifestyle and that's all you knew, it's okay. But at some point, you can change and want better for yourself. You don't have to continue to live in that lifestyle and think that that's okay. No, once you hear a different side of what it's like to be a woman of virtue and standard, then you have to sometimes look in the mirror and hold yourself accountable and stop lying to yourselves. All of y'all are lying to yourselves at this point who are in that lifestyle. You're lying to yourself, period. At the end of the day, all of us have to take some accountability as black women and look in the mirror and say, what are we really teaching this next generation? At some point, you can't just say, oh, it's all about, well, they don't want to hear good, clean music. They don't want to hear women. They want to hear this. They want to hear that. How can we make our money? That's a lie. Lauryn Hill had a #1 album for years on the top of the chart. Let's just be honest. That ain't got nothing to do with it. Let's come up with something better than that, ladies, please. Let's hold ourselves accountable. Let's become women, black women that we can be proud of to be. At some point, that might have been your past, and you might have lived that lifestyle, but at some point, you have to grow and mature and get some knowledge and wisdom and set yourself apart and not encourage this ratchet behavior. You can't keep doing it, ladies. It's embarrassing to all of us black women who are trying to live the lifestyle that we want our young ladies and women to be proud of and to brag about something else other than a wet vagina or a big butt or getting plastic surgery and looking a certain way. There's so much more to us than that, ladies. And it's time that we speak up on it and we stop encouraging this through the music, through the media, through entertainment. You know, a lot of people laugh at me because they say, Jamel, you don't watch TV. No, I don't watch TV. After I taught, I guess it did a culture shock to me, that know that these young ladies, this is what they're all following and they think that's okay. I was like, when I watch it, even though I'm older and mature enough to know this is entertainment, these young people don't know that. So what I was seeing on TV and how we were being portrayed in reality TV as black women, I'm like, I can't keep watching that. I'm encouraging that by watching it. So no, my TV never comes on. You can ask my daughter, anybody who know me for the past probably 6 or 7 years. I don't, because I saw what it was doing to our younger generation. If you haven't been around young people, you may be clueless to it, but at the end of the day, we have to hold ourselves accountable, and we have to think about the next generation. And so I wanted to do an episode on this. I didn't want to preach. I didn't want to just, come down on a lot of biblical things and topics of that nature. It ain't even about that. At some point, it's about we got to rise above and we got to do better. We have to. And if you know a young lady who's in that lifestyle, she didn't know any better, she's innocent, ignorant, or whatever to it, then sometimes you have to pull over and explain to her, young lady, this is what happens in life later on. You can use your body, but at the end, you're going to be the one that's losing. Y'all know the stats of hysterectomies. Y'all know the stats of women with cancer, with cervical cancer. That ain't just by coincidence. Let's be honest with these STDs and these women not being able to bear children or having hysterectomies at an early age and having cervical cancers. All that comes from your body. You only get one. So you can sit up here and brag about using your body to get what you want. At the end of the day, you're going to be the one that's losing, because you can't buy a new uterus. You can't buy new ovaries, and you can't buy a new vagina, no matter what. So keep exploiting that and keep saying you're winning, but you're really losing at the end. And nobody else may not tell you this. They don't want you to see that side of it. They might not want to tell you really the truth behind all of the OnlyFans and the using your body and the prostitution and the finessing. They might not want to tell you that, but it's real. And when you do your research and really look behind the corner, you can ask yourself, well, if that's the case, if it's so empowering, why men don't want their daughters to do it? Or the ones that they call their wives, that they actually married. Okay? So I need us to really stand together, black women, and teach other black women that it's not okay. And I want black men as well to hold yourself accountable. And stop bragging about tricking women and if it ain't tricking if you ain't got it and this. Come on, y'all. It's time to grow up. It's really time for us to grow up and become respectable women and men who handle their business and not just use their bodies to get what they want. They use their brain, their smarts, their intellect. We are all capable of being great in no matter what. And it does not have to be on a poll. It does not have to be on the OnlyFans page. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. Those of you who tune in, I hope you got something from it. And I hope I didn't offend too many people, but I had to speak on it. And this is from the heart. I love everyone dearly, and I wish all y'all the best. And I hope that we learn to change our mindset in the African American community as it relates to black women and degrading ourselves. It has to stop somewhere. Love you.
It's a keep it G show. Yeah. It's a keep it G show. Yeah. It's a keep it G. Keep it G. Yeah. Oh.